Hey guys, welcome to our channel. Um, now we're doing, I know it's the same one, but we're trying to squeeze all the information we can out of these, and I know that after a while, there's only a few people following along. But maybe that's the few right people, right? Because maybe you guys are, maybe some of this stuff, maybe some of it, especially when you get into the random hits and translations, maybe some of this stuff is going to mean something to somebody that it doesn't mean to us, if you understand. Uh, Maybe we'd see a phrase that didn't make sense to us, but somebody else with different knowledge than us might see that phrase and go, "Whoa, that means like you know what I mean?" Like somebody with knowledge of something. So I find it interesting, and I know that One Affected has done some research, and that was pretty cool. That was on Shemi and Shemini. Ended up, boy, I can't remember. I got it wrote down, but not. I don't remember. But anyway, that's not about that. We'll come back to that in another video. Right now, we're doing ZZ Top cheap sunglasses, and now we're doing the translation part. Um, it's a little interesting. This one is. And you had, by now, those of you who are following along know you had ES by get because glass cancels out and you left with ES, and by changed to get, and it's in that order. And so far, we have decoded those 8 letters forwards and backwards in the stock market, forwards and backwards all the way through in genetics, forwards and backwards in chemicals, forwards and backwards with random hits that were different than that. Now, one of them was similar, right? Because we had a genetics one, but it hit on a random hit. Um, and So now we got the translation part, and I'll provide these links, guys. ES winds up being is in Spanish. BU winds up being it in Turkish. UYG winds up being appropriate in Turkish. YG winds up being the one in Indonesian. GE winds up being give in Swedish. ET winds up being and in French. Excuse me. TE winds up being two in Dutch. TEG winds up being species in Icelandic. EYG winds up being one in Hungarian. YU winds up being verses in Chinese, and YUB winds up being youth in Bengali. BSE ends up being settled in Hindi, and SE winds up being he in Spanish. So in order, you would actually have, is it appropriate, the one, give, and two, species, one, versus youth, settled he. Okay, I think we can all agree that doesn't really make sense if you say that, but if somebody really smart with a quantum computer was sending a message to somebody, and that's what this looks like, guys. It looks like something you might write on a post-it note. My fiance figured to flip these words around and came up with, he is appropriate to give the one species versus one youth, and it is settled. And it is right here. He is appropriate to give the one species versus one youth, and it is settled. And it is settled. Like, that was it. Like, he is appropriate. He's going to do it. Shut up. basically. You know, like something you might, something's a boss might write on a post-it note, like if you were maybe a scientist. So, yeah, that's kind of interesting, and that pretty much wraps up ZZ Top cheap sunglasses. Um, of course, I'm fairly certain we could break all that down, and it would run all three ways in chemicals, genetics, and the stock market. And someday we might come back to that. But for now, I think we're going to move on to another song and try to squeeze all the information we can out of that, and until we get all these done. And the reason we're doing that, guys, is we don't know. We're not sure. We're sure this is all related. We're sure this is all information. This is all data, but we're not sure what's going to be the key to figuring it out, you know, on these quantum computer hits anyway. You know, who's running the searches. I think we've already, you know, I think there's something to that Perry Stone Ministries guys, because that Stairway to Heaven, right? We're changing Stairway to Heaven, and within that is a code to give Perry Stone Ministries money, right? It's a weird thing, and all that information about that, I could be wrong, but that seems to me a little suspicious, don't you think? And again, I could be wrong. That's a theory I've got. I mean, maybe once you get into some of these translations, maybe that is key, and maybe the elements are key. Maybe there's missing information. Maybe we need to translate the elements that are in here as well. If you were a smart person, you write in a message to another smart person that you didn't want somebody like me to find, you might bury him in the elements. Just a thought. And, you know, we'll see how that goes. I might play around with it a little bit and see what happens. Let you guys know. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. Did I get everything? I believe you did. I think so. All right. So for now, guys, thanks for all your thumbs up, thumbs down. Thanks for all your comments, leads, feedback, and subscriptions. And thanks for sticking with us, guys. Thanks for watching. And hopefully, oh, and also, if anybody's still with me, if anybody else sees if this means anything to anybody, you see what I'm saying? If this means anything to somebody, comment. If somebody knows something that we don't, or if that means something to you, or you see something there that maybe we don't see, comment, because we want to know about it. Because people with knowledge of other things, a phrase, so I mean that's pretty self-explanatory. But some of these others, guys, I mean, and even this one, somebody might see something that I don't. Somebody might know what the one species versus one youth means. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I might do a little research on that phrase itself, actually. But anyway, guys, yeah, really, if you guys see something, let us know. If something means something to you, or even any of the decodes, if anything in those decodes strikes you personally, uh, that you may know something about, or that you have, that I know what I'm trying to say. If something strikes you that seems important, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. That maybe that we flew by, trying to get it all out. Let us know, and we can go back and touch on it. You know what I mean? Because we don't know what the key is. That's the key. We don't know what the key is. We're trying to figure out what the key is. We'll squeeze all the data we can from all the songs we can, because we can do that. So that's going to be it for now, guys. Really, And thanks a lot for watching, guys. And for now, you guys have a great rest of your evening.